Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of That Settles It. I am Dr. Amir Rashidian. This is Pastor R. Dallas Green, and the question we always start with is, what's the issue?
The issue today is blood pressure, Dr. Amir, which should be a very easy one to solve. You know, many are concerned about their blood pressure now. What's a normal blood pressure and what's hypertension? Because reading through the literature on this, it seems as if most medical authorities are saying that normal blood pressure is about 120 systolic and about 80 diastolic. And they say that blood pressure over time will damage the artery walls. So what happens is the artery walls may become weak, causing an aneurysm, and these walls have little tears in them caused by high blood pressure that now attracts cholesterol and plaque into those places. And the blood flow begins to decrease as the plaque enlarges. And the plaque can become clots.
Yes.
And these clots completely block blood flow. So therefore, the solution to the problem is to get on some medicine, especially if your blood pressure is about above 120 on systolic or above 80 on diastolic. What do you think, Dr. Mayer?
Okay, so I have some issues with our issue, and here's number one. Blood pressure is regulated naturally. Now, what do I mean by that? If you put me on a treadmill and have me run, and let's say I'm not even running too fast, but you do a lot of cardiovascular exercise. Hey, let's say you're on your bike and you're riding. Yep. Would you expect your blood pressure to be the same while you're on the bike as you are at rest?
I don't want you to measure me on my bike because it's going to be a little bit higher.
It's probably going to be high.
Especially when I have pills.
So, but does that mean that every time you're going to get on that bike, you should take some extra blood pressure medication just so the blood pressure doesn't go up?
Well, it seems as if my heart's trying to get enough oxygen to my body.
Yes! Okay, so there's a demand, right? There's a demand on the body, and the body rises to that demand.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
That's
So if there was a demand on me, now let me ask you this. Let's say I just had a really heated argument with a sibling. Would you expect my blood pressure to be low or high?
Probably high, especially if it's a heated argument.
Yeah, so would you say I'm abnormal at that point?
I'd say you're very normal.
I'm normal. So good. So now every time I have an argument, should I run out and get some blood pressure medication?
I think if you're using a lot of blood pressure medicine.
I would be, yes, I would be. Well, thank goodness I don't have any siblings. So I'm an only child, so that's not an issue. Here's the thing. What caused my blood pressure to go up?
The argument that your body had a demand.
Right, but does my heart know that, let's say, my sibling has a different political affiliation than I do, or does my heart just do what it's told?
I think we do what's told.
Exactly. And what's telling my heart what to do? Would you say that would be the brain, right? Through nerves, right? Nerves and release of certain chemicals would stimulate the heart to beat faster and the blood pressure to go up higher. Now, catecholamines get released in times of stress. Catecholamines build up in the body. They hit the receptors. The receptors tell the heart to beat higher, harder, faster, raise our blood pressure, right? Now, what causes it to come back down? Would you agree it's the same system that brings the blood pressure back? Exactly. So the brain tells the heart to, okay, lower the blood pressure because now it's too high. We need to go back to normal. So you would agree that our blood pressure is self-regulated, kind of like our body temperature.
Yes.
So if it's self-regulated, how quickly should we jump the gun at chemically lowering that blood pressure?
Well, I think medicine would argue that if the blood pressure is sustained over a period of time, that is not because of an argument or because of bike ride, but it's sort of staying elevated, saying above 140, 160.
Right.
Then it's actually posing some risk for the plaque to form.
So at rest, if my blood pressure is higher at rest, right? But we just said my blood pressure is self-regulated. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it is.
The brain, the nervous system controls my tells my blood pressure what to be. So the brain says, I want this guy's blood pressure at 120/70, and then the heart says, right away, aye, aye, Captain, and it does it, right? So if it's higher than that, did the heart suddenly decide to raise my blood pressure? Or did maybe my nervous system say, for you, I want your blood pressure higher?
Sounds more like the second.
I think you're right. And so if that's the case, my argument is before we take a blood pressure and say, oh, your blood pressure is high, let's right away put you on medication, let's find out what the load is on the body, because that load doesn't necessarily have to be an argument, doesn't necessarily have to be on an exercise bike or a treadmill or a mountain bike. What it could be is other stressors.
Yes.
Think about this. Let's say I go to work and my boss yells at me all day. The minute I show up, why are you late? I'm not late. Yes, you are. And here's your work. Go get to work. And then, by the way, skip lunch because you got to keep working. And at 5 p.m., here's another stack of paperwork. Get this done before you leave. And when I go home, guess who's yelling at me now?
Your wife.
The wife. Why are you late? You know, why are you always late? You didn't help me with the kids, and I had to eat dinner by, and so on. So now that person has high blood pressure.
Yes.
Because they're under constant chronic stress. Here's my question. Is it healthy to have higher blood pressure under load? If it's healthy for me to have a higher blood pressure when I'm running on the treadmill, maybe it's healthy for me to have higher blood pressure when there's all these other stressors. And maybe what I need to do is, would you also agree when you first started riding a bike, your stamina was lower?
Yes.
And then over time, you're able to ride, how many miles can you ride now?
I can do 30, 50.
30, amazing,
Yeah.
right? 30 to 50 miles you can do, and you're not as winded as maybe when you started out. You might have done only 10 miles and felt tired. Same thing. What if it's the same thing? What if that person is in a different type of treadmill running, and there's a load on the body, that's what we call allostatic load, and the body's response is, I need to bring my blood pressure up to match that load. Now we reduce that pressure. That load is going to do more damage on us than when the pressure was high. This is just philosophy and a theory, but maybe, I just want to say, is it possible that we should wait before we put people on blood pressure medication and see if there's a way to naturally lower that?
So it's possible we're over-treating ourselves with blood pressure medicine when indeed our body's calling for higher blood pressure to get through stress. So there's a piece about the stress, about what I do at work and what happens when I come home. It's also about managing stress, right?
Yes.
Maybe the Achilles heel of blood pressure is sort of learning how to manage stress. Yeah, giving yourself a little break.
And I believe age is another allostatic load.
Yes.
I firmly believe that the older we get, the higher our blood pressure should be and needs to be, unless we're very fit like yourself, where we exercise on a regular basis and take really good care of ourselves to keep our bodies efficient. Otherwise, as we age, there is an increase in blood pressure naturally. Here's the thing, blood pressure medication does not go and relax your blood vessels. ACE inhibitors do, but beta blockers don't. Diuretics don't. So ACE inhibitors make the smooth muscle in the arteries more relaxed, but still, nothing really is doing what it needs to do, which is make the body more efficient. And that would be my focus.
So let's say that in the arteries there's a little bit of plaque. Are there ways to sort of reduce the plaque in the arteries and or decrease the blood pressure?
Believe it or not, there has been several studies that show that you can reduce that. Imaging has been done. Now, it can't be done through medication apparently, but it is done through proper exercise, which is going for a 30-minute walk every day, increasing your vegetable intake, lots of vegetables in your diet, and social interaction, believe it or not. So when you have happy relationships, you hang out with your friends on a regular basis like this, and you have healthy arguments, and you walk every day, and you eat more vegetables, over time, plaquing disappears, and studies have shown that.
So if the plaque is increasing, the blood pressure is going up. If we decrease the plaque, the blood pressure should be going down.
It should go down, yeah, because now you have a wider pipe for the blood to go through.
Yes. So the vegetables, I know about like eggplant, exports cholesterol out of the body. I know oatmeal has been reported to take cholesterol out.
Yes.
But what would you say in terms of diet would be helpful?
I would say lots of greens. Anything that's green, yeah. And cauliflower is white, but technically it's a green. So potato is not a green. So, you know, but yeah, lots of vegetables. They say a vegetarian diet increases your lifespan, but they've never studied the vegetarian diet with lots of vegetables, with lots of other things, you know, whether that also increases lifespan. I believe everything is nutritious and important, and you should have a nice, balanced diet of everything.
How about like cleansing the blood, the toxins in the blood? Is there things we can do to detoxify?
There are things we can do to detoxify, but fasting is one of the best, and that's in the Bible. I truly believe when you fast 24 to 48 hours, your body really detoxifies itself, and you don't need any of the other supplements or chemicals or anything like that. Otherwise, there's plenty of fasts you can find on the internet, like juice fasts and supplemental fast where you actually take supplements that cleanse your liver.
Yeah.
But I like fasting.
So there is something we can agree about, and that is that Jesus said, what's the profit of man if he gains the whole world? Let's say he gets his blood pressure under control, but he loses his own soul.
That's right.
What profit it would be to that man?
None.
So the greatest profit is a relationship with God where we're regularly coming to him and laying down our stresses and not carrying these things, because that probably is contributing to this high blood pressure, where we're sort of admitting we're not in control.
That's
and
right.
giving control to God, who is in control of all things. Thank you, Doctor.
When your eternity is secure, there's no need for that blood pressure to be up.
Yes.
Read the Bible 10 minutes a day. It's better than medication.
Till next time.
That settles the issue?
Settles it.
Settles it.